We like to listen. There's a lot of listening, and there's a lot of questions. We want to fully understand what their objectives are. From day one, it's all about options and what would you like to do and how can we make it happen.
I worked with the client from the very beginning to discuss what the options were, what the programmatic requirements were for the building, what the school needed to provide the best services to its students.
It became very clear very quickly that Trautman, in both their ability to work with us, a bunch of educators that wanted to push the envelope a little bit, that they had the creative ability to see our vision and to work with us to end up with a beautiful final project.
We worked very closely, the facilities committee, at the time of designing the school with Trautman Associates to help design spaces that were appropriate for our needs and the expansion of our school as well.
It was a process that we felt like we were in continuously with them, and decisions were being made together. At every step of the way, they were coming to us, we were coming to them. We looked at samples.
Something that was very important to Tapestry was to allow the teachers to kind of have some of the say in not only colors and finishes, but where they went. And also this possibility that down the road, if a teacher changed or a classroom changed, that the colors and the finishes had the ability to change as well.
Trautman completely listened to any suggestions we had, or even suggestions that we had that might not be good suggestions, and they were able to really give us guidance on that and why it may not be a wise choice for the future and different things. And that made all the impact, because really I'm just education. They're the ones doing the building, but yet I felt like they always were looking out for our best interest, and also in regards to growing and expanding, just not living for now but for the future. That made a huge difference.
I believe that their participation and what they brought to the table, their knowledge, their expertise, was just as valuable as ours.
Even looking at blueprints and things of that nature, teachers really kind of had an opportunity to do that, which also really increased the ownership that they have within the space as well. So it really feels like, as a family, we've helped create this space, and then we have a chance to live in it each day, which has been awesome. So certainly teachers' morale is very high with the way the building kind of turned out, and they're super excited about this space.
I love the way the school involved the kids and the parents all along the way, kept them in touch with the progress of the project.
We had the students involved throughout the building process, and this was such a joy of a project because we had constant updates on the construction process.
Well, walking in the building, seeing those young faces makes me feel very happy. The kids will come up to you, they'll say hello to you, they'll want to show you things that are in the building, and then the funny thing is, when they realize that you're the person who came up with that as part of the design team to make everything happen, they kind of look at you a little differently. It's like, oh wow, you're somebody special.
There might be new systems that the technology might be beyond what they've been aware of. We've had situations where clients want to fix something, and the thing that they want to fix is not the thing that would fix their problem. The client might have an idea of something they've seen somewhere else that we've never worked with, and that's why it's a fun, interesting field to be in, because you're always learning every day, and every design is new and different. So, absolutely, it's never one way or the other. It's let's talk about what we want to do together.
Charter schools, when they're done right, should be incubators of innovation and education and community, and I think that's what we do. And I think it was a really phenomenal way for us to express that through architecture. They asked a lot of thoughtful questions about the way in which we do school. How are we special? How are we unique? How are we different? And that showed us that this was a team that we could really work with.
We engaged all of our staff into a fresh problem in the schematic design of a project, and it's these collaborations that really result in thought-through, complete designs. So it's the integrated architectural and engineering. It was quite actually unique in 1956, and to this day it's been the key to our success.
We have a long-term relationship here with Tapestry. We see this continuing in the future.
So this was an incredible project for us as a school community to build. It's a 60,000 square foot, 3-story building set on the former site of the Pan American Exposition. The final product was more than we could have ever hoped for.
One of the things that they really helped us to do was to envision, like, not just living for now, but living for your future. Looking at, for instance, the size and brightness of your hallways, all of the spaces for the gymnasium, and thinking about all of the families. So you have, 2 to 5 family members that are coming for every student. So right now that may look like a small number, but remembering that children are going to need that space. You're going to need even things like the tech, the infrastructure, and different things that were put into this building. And the layout of the building was really important. So they forced us to think about those things so that this building will outlast and surpass our expansion.
Being on the former site of the Pan American Exposition, we had this phenomenal opportunity to be creative and be thoughtful about how the building lended itself and reflected itself to the space and to the geography of North Buffalo. We made a purposeful effort to center the staircase and the elevator shaft. It lined up in the exact center of the former Esplanade, which is now Lincoln Parkway.
My son's an engineer at heart, so coming to this school was huge for him because we practically watched this school get built because we live not far from here. And he loves the staircase. He thinks it's a big deal when he has to come upstairs to go to the library. And he's very excited about the glass wall. He talks about the stairs that go all the way up. So he can't wait to go to a classroom where he can go even further.
We had a very fun time picking out a colorful brick and tile pattern that can be seen from the outside, that's lit up, that was really a metaphor to the electric tower, which was a part of that esplanade. That staircase was a great metaphor for a beacon of light of education. I think that's what our school community really does.
One of my favorite parts of this project is the stair tower, because that's one place where you actually see the structure. The glaze, they're actually structural blocks, and the glazed facing was chosen by the architect so that she could make the pattern that you see. And I had to work with the architect to make sure that dimensionally everything came together.
And they didn't want to go in the typical direction of, let's just build a stair to be a stair. Let's build a stair to be like a kaleidoscope, with colors, and let's build spaces that the kids will enjoy participating and thinking and dreaming.
Thinking about the space like our library here, and the computer lab that's adjacent to it gives access to technology. A lot of inspirational ideas happen right here in this room as well.
When you look at our library, there's spaces for laptop use, there's places for them to sit at tables, but then there's also places for them just to be able to hang out and be kids and to enjoy that. And every child has different needs, so that flexible seating really met that.
The father was so excited walking through the building, and he made a point to talk about the colors and how when he went to school, everything was so sterile, and he didn't want to be there, and it was so uninviting. And he's like, I want to go to school here. Everywhere we went in the building, he's like, look how beautiful it is. Look, oh my God, look at this library. Every space we wanted to, he was so excited that it just became contagious, and then she became excited too. So it was just nice to be able to see that transformation from the father's perspective into his daughter.
He enjoys the space. He loves dance class with Miss Deborah. He loves the freedom of the big space in the dance room, the 2 sides of windows that you can look out to the street, to the parking lot, to the schools across the street.
The dance studio allows it to be an informal performance space for theater, for music, for dance, and where we can showcase student work, and parents can come in and sit comfortably in a space for our performances and open class demonstrations. There's a great deal of discussion and consideration for the safety of the children's bodies, so we put in a sprung hardwood marley floor, and it really gives and takes care of the dancers. So I'm very grateful that they, listen to the needs of what appropriate space should be for dance and for movement, and the size and the floor have really transformed our work, I think, and kept us safe. The teachers feel very happy to just be in our beautiful K-5 space and have the appropriate room space available for all of them and for their students. I think they feel very happy.
They need to have quiet spaces and small spaces to do small group learning. They need to have big spaces to run around and be active. Their art spaces should be conducive to the program that they're being delivered.
We can make it as pretty and as functional as we want it to be, but it also has to be usable and it has to work in a way that fosters the teachers to be able to teach.
Our classrooms all have sinks in them, which was important. It seems like these things are very small, but when you're working with 26 5-year-olds in a classroom, it's really important that you have running water in a classroom, you have smart boards, and all of those design elements seem like they're just beautiful and in design theory, but it's really about creating intentional spaces that are great spaces for teachers and children.
Usually when we go home from school, the teacher she just moves the tables around, and then the next day we're sitting with a new person. Maybe to make them have like new friends.
It's bright and it's fun and it's exciting to come to work, and the kids have a lot of fun in the classroom as well.
One of the intentional designs that I think is beneficial is the way that the gymnasium and the cafeteria, how they're adjacent to one another, but they have those dividers that kind of separate those two spaces.
We can have full school community meetings where we put on performances and showcase the talents of our students, and we invite the parents. And that was purposely planned because of our program and because of the team that was willing to keep an open mind.
It's a lot of fun in the gym and the cafeteria, which, we get to see every month during community meeting, and it's a great space for having parents in and letting them see what's going on at the school.
The cafeteria people are a little nicer. The cafeteria is bigger.
I think it is very good, and I really like our gymnasium.
Most of my work is behind the scenes. You never really see it, but it's very important. As we're usually the first part of the project that gets built, so it's important to be accurate. It's important to make sure that we're coordinated with the architects and the engineers. I work in coordination with the engineer. The engineer really designs the structure, and I translate that into the construction documents. And I also assist in making sure that things fit together and that they're coordinated. It's always a back and forth with the architects and the mechanical and the electrical engineers to make sure that there isn't a column in the way of something that the architects need to place in a room. But then a lot of times you have to have a column there for the building to be structurally stable.
Watching something go from 2D to 3D is always fascinating, even if it's what you do every day. It's just really neat to see something come alive from paper. So watching the drone footage, you get to see it from literally a bird's eye view. Generally, I'm standing next to it on the ground. So just to experience it in a whole new way was very neat and rewarding.
In today's day and age, we work with 3D computer programming, and we can almost see what the building is going to look like in a 3D rendering beforehand. So we have time to massage different components here and there. Well, we were updated with the construction videos, updated videos, and we could see the kids singing songs, cheering, and autographing beams that were going up into the tower.